Paul Quinn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Treaty of Waitangi negotiations. What recent progress has the government made towards its goal of settling historical Treaty of Waitangi claims by 2014?
Mr. Speaker, the government recently signed deeds of settlement with two karahopu iwi at the top of the South Island, Ngāti Kuia and Ngāti Apa, and will be signing a deed of settlement with Rangatani o Wairau on 4 December. Since the start of last year, the Crown has reached... Taipa's not at the top of the South Island. Since the start of last year, the Crown has reached over 60 significant settlement milestones, including 21 agreements in principle and 10 deeds of settlement. That represents great progress, especially compared to the previous administration's average of 1.6 deeds of settlement a year.
Mr. Speaker.
Paul Quinn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Supplementary to the Minister. What other progress has the government recently made towards its goal of settling all historical treaty claims?
Order. I apologise to the member. Now, look, I say to both sides of the House, the background noise today is unacceptable. And I saw a member there yelling across the House endlessly while the member was asking his question. And I fully accept tensions are quite high today. I fully accept that. And I've tried to let the House live a little more because of it, because I think there are times when one can't keep the reins too tight. But I just ask a little more reasonableness, please. Now, I'd ask Paul Quinn to repeat his question, please.
Thank you.
Point of order, the Honourable Darren.
Mr. Speaker, if we accept your ruling, if you're to extend that protection to this particular member asking the question, then he might return the courtesy when other members on this side are asking questions. This member in particular just has a diatribe of yelling whenever our people are asking questions.
Order. Members shouldn't abuse another member when raising a point of order, like referring to something as a diatribe. They shouldn't do that. Now, I admit the member has interjected a little too often today during question time, and he needs to be mindful of that, although I've not heard him yelling constantly, which is what was going on there. Order. His voice is very loud and very distinctive, and one certainly hears it when he's... And he is not... What we were experiencing then was someone just yelling continuously. And I just ask all members, I've not blamed one side of the House more than the other, I'm just asking all members to just be a little more reasonable. I'm not blaming one side any more than the other. I think both sides have been particularly noisy today with respect to background noise. Now, I'd ask, and I do take on board the member's point, I'd ask Paul Quinn to be mindful of this when he's interjecting. Paul Quinn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What other progress has the government recently made towards its goal of settling all historical treaty claims?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Yeah, the government recently initialled a deed of settlement with Ngāti Porou. Ngāti Porou is now engaged in a ratification process, and What's Labour policy? What, to settle Treaty of Waitangi grievances? Certainly not. And I'd encourage all those eligible to participate. I'd like to acknowledge the leadership of Ngāti Porou in reaching this milestone, the support of the Maori Party throughout the negotiations. I also acknowledge the very eloquent speech by the Honourable Parakura Horomia at the ceremony when the deed was initialled.
Rahui Katane.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Supplementary to the Minister. What impact does the legal action being taken against the Crown by Whakatūan Corporation have in settling the claims of Te Tauihu iwi, and what can those iwi do to progress their negotiations?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Speaker, it certainly delays the signing of the deeds of settlement because in accordance with the terms of negotiation, the Crown has had to suspend negotiations with Tainui Taranaki pending resolution of the Wakatū proceeding. They too were parties to the terms of negotiation, but in the interim I hope that the iwi of Tainui Taranaki will be able to work together to resolve the intra-iwi issues that still remain outstanding, and my understanding is good progress is being made in that regard.
Hilary Calvert.
To the Minister, in light of it taking 40 years to settle treaty claims, does he expect it to take more or less time for customary marine title claims to be settled?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Well, it hasn't taken 40 years to resolve Treaty of Waitangi claims. This process really got underway in the early 1990s and good progress is being made. In answer to the question about marine and customary title matters, I believe that good progress can be made to resolve those matters once legislation has passed. Legislation that properly explained to the electorate will secure their agreement, and I think that's the approach we should adopt rather than scaremongering and unpleasantness.
Question number 12, Claire.